Here I opened the new Postman application window. You probably will need to log in or create the Postman account to see this screen. I am just logged in, so this is why I see this screen immediately, and this is how it looks like. On the left side, you have the sidebar, when you can preview the history of all actions you performed and browse the collection of all requests of the whole application. Now let me define a very first request in our application. In the URL input field, I will just type the address I want to send a request to. It will be the URL of the application we will deploy later in the course. It starts from Udemy Rails API course.herokuapp.com/articles. That's it. A super simple API request now is defined. Now I'm clicking a send button, and as a response, I got the JSON document containing a collection of articles data. If it doesn't look as pretty for you as it does for me, you can switch between different views to choose which format you need. Also, an important thing to notice. Here, in the top right corner, there is information about the HTTP status of the server response. It says 200 right now, and that is a successful GET response. If I change the path in the URL to something stupid, let's say lol, and then send the request, it will return the 404 status code, which is not found. The easiest way to check if your request is served properly is to watch those HTTP statuses. If you will see the code starting from 2, like 200 or 201, and so on, it usually means successful processing, and all other responses usually mean that something was wrong with the request or the server action. Now let's add some parameters. As you can see, we have quite a few articles defined in our database, and all of them are listed at once. Our application supports pagination, so we can provide the page and per page parameters to specify how many results we want to list at once. All request parameters for getting data are split by an ampersand. So now I'm adding the question mark, and then I define the per page parameter by assigning the value to 1. Please notice how this parameter had been automatically added to the attributes table below. Instead of typing parameters directly in the URL, we can also add them to the table, and everything will be updated immediately. Then you won't need to worry about question marks, ampersands, and other crap in the URL. So I will add two attributes, per page setting the value to 1 and page setting it to 2. Now when I send the request to the server, I will get only one result, and it will be the article from the middle of the collection here. Let's try it out. Yes, as expected. The nice thing about this URL attributes table here is that you can also add a short notes for each available parameter, like an expected type and default values. This will be reflected in the preview of the request we will look on in one of the next videos. Now I can save the request in the application to easily refer to it later. After clicking on Save Request button, I can choose the name of the request and add a short description. The nice thing is that this description field supports Markdown, so we can format it really quick, and it will be also automatically rendered in pretty way in the preview. I will add a header saying that this request is about getting a list of articles, and in the description, more detailed information here. I know it's a little bit redundant, but it's only an example, so who cares, right? Now, even if we have something in the description, we still can't save it. The Save button is disabled now, as we need to choose a folder where we want to place it. I will name it Rails API. Now I can finally save the request, and it had been immediately put into the appropriate folder in the sidebar on the left. This way, We quickly tested out if our application server is up and running, and we can check if it responds as we expect for any particular API endpoint we want to work with. It's easy to use, easy to work with, and you don't even need to be a backend developer to understand how to do the updates. But that's only a start.